and welcome to the executive branch. The executive branch enforces the laws. Yes, oh yes, it does. Throughout the course of this unit, we're going to be looking at some different things that you need to know about the executive branch, namely the president, vice president, and cabinet. So we're going to look at the roles and responsibilities of specifically the executive branch. We're going to see how the powers and the relationship between the executive branch and other branches have changed over time. And we are also going to give examples of checks and balances. Let's do it. So our learning target one, remember you never need to take notes on those. We're going to be looking at the presidency itself. And I'm kind of glitchy. I don't really know why. That's okay. All right, requirements for office. There are constitutional requirements, formal requirements, and then there are more informal requirements for office. So the first we want to look at are the formal requirements. So according to the Constitution, you have to be at least 35 years old. You have to be a natural born citizen, meaning you're born in the United States, and you also have to be a resident for 14 years. Okay, so those are the three formal requirements according to the Constitution. Now, what are some informal requirements? So in addition to those, what are some other things that people look for in their president? You're probably going to look for somebody who's got some sort of experience in leadership, right? Other informal requirements, unfortunately, you kind of have to have a lot of money. You've got to be able to run a pretty successful campaign. Those things would be considered more informal requirements. So the term of office, we know that because of the 22nd Amendment, which was passed after FDR was in office, presidents can only serve a total of 2 terms or no more than 10 years, okay? And we know that presidential terms are 4 years. However, the 22nd Amendment tells us that if you are president, or if you're vice president, I'm sorry, and the president you're serving for dies after serving at least 2 years of their term, the first thing you have to do, because you're vice president, is finish out their term. And then the second thing you've got to do, or you are able to do, is you can run one more time on your own, okay? Depending on where that president died in their term, you could maybe run 2 more times. Now, if the president you're serving for dies after serving less than 2 years of their term, then the first thing you've got to do, obviously, is finish out their term, and then you can run once on your own. Now, we've got 2 different types of elections. I'm going to get this calendar up here. So we've got 2 different types of elections we focus on when it comes to electing a president. So you've got primary elections and general elections. And the general election, skipping down here to this one, this is the election that takes place in November every 4 years. And when it takes place is really specific, so pay attention. It takes place the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November, okay? The first Tuesday after the first Monday. And we'll talk about why it's very specific in class, okay? So primary elections. The purpose of a primary election is for parties to narrow down the list of candidates to one person to represent their party. If you remember in the 2020 election, there were a lot of Democratic candidates, okay? During the primary season, the candidates were narrowed down to one person for that party, okay? So general elections, the purpose is to choose a president. Primary elections, the purpose is for the party to choose their candidate. I'm going to stop there. If you guys have any questions,